Alright, so we have our bucktail here, and I cut some pieces off, and what this is really hot water, and I mixed some vinegar in it. I only had apple cider vinegar on hand, so I hope that that works. And we're going to try to dye this bucktail. So we just have some food coloring that we got at good old Hy-Vee, if you know, you know. I already mixed this one up, so this is green. So we're going to mix up a pink one. So we just got a red here. And we're just going to do that much. That looks good to me. And it's best to do this over a paper towel, or else you're just going to get stuff all kinds of stained up. So, this is all we have to do. Bloop. And bloop. And you just push them suckers down. And I'll probably just get another butter knife and just get it to where it's held down on the bottom. And I just let these set overnight, and they do a pretty alright job of dyeing your bucktail. And then we'll get them all tied up. Okay, everyone, so we have our dyed bucktail, and ooh, does that look good? This is so vibrant. This is so pink. Like, the pink turns out really well. That's like, and we did a tried to do a orange, like a yellow. Didn't turn out as good, but it's alright. Then we did a blue, purple blue. That one turns out decent, but then the green ones, those ones don't turn out half bad. I like this one a lot better than how this one turned out. This one's a little kind of like more blue-green. This one's more of the green that I personally like. But hey, we are going to tie up some bucktails. So, right away, we're going to go with a color that I call, actually, my significant other, she affectionately calls watermelon. So we'll get this started for you. So we got our line started. So my significant other, she affectionately calls this color watermelon, because you know what, it's kind of like a watermelon. It's gonna be green and pink, and like honestly this looks so good. So for bucktails, I always go with like a less is more approach to them, just because I feel, in my unprofessional lure making abilities and experience, I feel that a little less hair, you know, not a super bulky one, makes for a better bucktail jig. And you know, when I started doing this, was a broke college student, so I really learned to just kind of use what I had. And so what I have is just a forceps, and you know, I got my mini vise. I just use string, or you know, whatever that you can get from Walmart. And then this bucktail I got from my uncle from a deer that he shot. And what else? And just super glue. You know, these jig heads are, you know, not super spendy either, but you know what? Like, it all works. You know, you just have to use what you have. You don't have to have anything too fancy. you know, because I don't have, all of the fly tying equipment or anything like that. But you don't really need that to like start making fishing lures. Alright, and you get that on there. We're gonna get this wrapped up. Now, would a fly tying vise and like a bobbin and all that other stuff, would that make things easier? Oh, you betcha it'd make things easier. And we're out of line, but I'm making this work just fine. And if you guys want to start tying your own jigs, honestly, you make that happen. And this time of year, if if you still have open water, like, this is a good time to use bucktail jigs. But also in the fall, like up in the Midwest for like walleye, ooh, minty for walleye. So we're gonna unclamp this, get this out of the forceps. And I'm a little rusty at this, as you can tell. But I just like gently pull in, just getting some of those looser strands out. But then, don't worry if you have like all of this stuff, because I literally just go along. Alright, so if you have like some of this extra stuff poking through, like, don't worry about that at all. Just take a box cutter with the razor blade on it, and it'll just shave it right off. And cut that excess string off. And ideally, none of that would be showing. But like I said, I haven't done this in a little bit. I'm a little rusty on my jig making. But hey, that color is watermelon. And, if you made like a really nice tie, you don't have to worry about this. But I always like to put some super glue on my threads. One, just because this isn't like fly tying thread. Ooh. This super glue is super thin. Anyway, like, since this isn't like fly tying threads, I like to put a dab of super glue. But what you could also do is, you can use literally what you have. So if you have a person in your life that likes wearing nail polish, you can get some clear coat. And you can like just put a clear coat of, that nail polish on, like around the threads, and that works just dandy. Personally, I like super glue. It's really easy, it dries really quick. So there you go. One thing that you can do, if you would like, is you can go ahead and you can trim this up if you want to. I just leave it as is. I think it's fine just like that. But anyway, watermelon. Alright, this next color that we're going to tie up is going to be a staple. Black and blue. You cannot beat that color combo. That's good for like dark, stained water. And heck, with these bucktail jigs, that'd even be good for clear water. And honestly, this is a personal favorite color of mine because my significant other, she caught her personal best bass on a very similar color. It was like black and blue and shiny. So we're gonna do our version of that. I think that the jig that she was using was like a Spro Bucktail Jig or something like that. I can't remember. But she caught it was like about a 2.5 pound bass back in South Dakota, which is like a pretty good sized fish up in the Midwest. But anyway, here we go. And we're going to try to get all of this covered up. Alright, let's see how this looks. Okay, got little areas to cover up here. But it's looking good. And I don't do anything fancy for a knot like I know people do. Oh, I can't even remember what the knot is called for like finishing fly ties and everything. But I just do a couple overhand knots. And the reason why like I'm not super picky about it or anything is because honestly, like I told you guys, we just use the super glue. Oh, and let me tell you a little bit more about like why I think less is more with bucktail jigs. So if you have it like really bulky, I feel like it doesn't give the hair like any room to breathe really. And so with that, I just feel like it doesn't look as good in the water. So just my 2 cents on that. So this next color is the first time I'm going to be doing this color, but I already have a name for it. We're going to call it yellow perch. Like, I love catching perch, yellow perch. You know, in South Dakota, in the Midwest, have quite a few of them, so that was always a lot of fun. This is going to be green and orange. So some tips about, you know, your bucktail. Like if you get a fresh bucktail like I did, I had to debone the tail, flesh it, and salt and cure it. So if you're going that route where you're literally doing it all yourself and you're not buying it from the store, make sure you take your time with that, really get it fleshed out well, salt it, let it sit for a couple of days, flesh it, salt it, and repeat until you get a nice dried out piece. And then after all of that is done, I still like to throw it in a Ziploc baggie and throw it in the freezer. I think that, I mean, not that you have to keep it fresh, but I just feel like that's a great place to store it. So that's what I'm going to do with these dyed sections. I already have 2 like whole bucktails in the freezer. So we're going to put these in a separate Ziploc bag just so I think maybe the colors will start bleeding into the white bucktail, which I really don't want to happen. Well, we're going to get fancy with this one. I'm getting some flashy stuff over here. Here we go. So put some flashing on this. So you just put it over like that. You can do a wrap. And you just wrap it in. So for the flashing, I will cut it down a little just because it's a bit long. So let's get another piece here. In my personal opinion, I don't like to put too much flashing on. Again, I feel I have this like less is more kind of thought process to it. So I only do about 2 to 3 pieces. So I did 2 pieces there. But get this all wrapped up. And shoot, that is looking good. It's a nice yellow perch color. And again, like with, you know, dyeing it yourself, I don't know how well these colors are gonna hold up long term. I kind of like the pastel kind of colors. You know, they're not too loud. Like this pink is like a really loud color. So I'm not sure how long term how the colors are gonna hold up, but right now they look pretty nice. And another tip, I have this newspaper down. Definitely do that when you're working with bucktail because hair gets everywhere and it makes for quick and easy cleanup. So we're gonna take our scissors and we're just gonna trim that. There we go. Yellow perch, ladies and gents. I like that color. And honestly, the camera does like a pretty decent job of capturing like what that color looks like. Like it's not super vibrant like the pink is, but you know, it's not white, so a little something different to look at. So that's gonna wrap it up for this video. You know, we just tied 3 jigs. Probably this one is my favorite. I always like the watermelon. But if you're wondering like where you can get like bulk jigs at, just go to like Northland Tackle and there's 100 jig heads for $28. So I feel like that's a pretty good price. And tie yourself up some bucktails. Because honestly, this cold weather, these do very well. Kind of something a little more finessey. Plus, bucktail just mimics, you know, a lot of different bait fish. And usually I just like tying up just straight like white or white with a little bit darker, like a back to it. But I'm pretty excited to throw these. We'll probably make a video of where we just throw some bucktails. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.